Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your in-depth monthly forecast for December. I'm going to give you the key strands to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail all the key influences particularly relevant to your sign. Now, this is a month of transition because the month starts with a more reflective vibe, but as soon as the 6th, Mercury joins your sign, followed on the 10th by Venus, and of course you already have the powerful Pluto with you, but it's the 21st which is the most influential day of this month for you, because then we have the winter solstice. The sun returns to your sign, and this also triggers the 4th of the cardinal quadrants. So the next 13-week period round to the spring equinox, when we start the new astrological year, for you this is an opportunity to really showcase your individuality. So really excited to tell you about that. Of course, over the last couple of years, your ruler Saturn has been conflicted by the rebellious energies of Uranus, and that's had an impact on us all. But for you, I feel that there perhaps has been some limitation on your self-worth, your financial situation. Of course, we're all grappling with this new fiscal reality. But Uranus is very much about being a free spirit. And being a free spirit has probably been a bit of a challenge when you had to be mindful of some essential everyday realities. Well, that energy is now tailing off from the start of this month. So that's really one to celebrate too. So lots to share with you. So please stay with me for more. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what year 2023 will hold for you personally, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast. If you order it in year 22, you'll get the rest of that year free. Plus, in my special package, you can get your life roadmap, your character analysis. Having this will help you to understand some of the repetitive patterns that have come up in your existence, perhaps the more challenging ones, but also the ones that give you opportunities. And having a deeper understanding of those can help you to really flourish in this new year. In my special package, you can get 30% off, so please see the link beneath this video. Also, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you already have, thank you so much for your continued support and views. So Capricorn, as you come into December, the Sun, Mercury and Venus are all lined up in the sign of Sagittarius. The 12th house, as it is, it's very much a Piscean influence for you, and it's interesting because the sign of Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, but then so is Pisces. Pisces energy is very much about how we reflect. So I think as you come into this new month, you could be feeling really quite nostalgic. Perhaps for people who are no longer with you, maybe there could be a degree of self-analysis. You may want to stick to the people you know really well and you have a strong sense of security with as we come into this new month. But there are some big energies going on between that part of your situation, the 12th, and the 6th house, which is to do with the structure of life, the everyday routines. Now, you have Mars in this location, and it is still in a retrograde right through to the 12th of January. So your physical vitality, I think, has been compromised quite a lot through October and November by Neptune in the sign of Pisces and in retrograde squaring with Mars. So even if you've been trying to grapple with making your life that much more productive, well organised and so forth, there may not have always have felt enough available vitality to see everything through quite as efficiently as you would have liked. But all this is going to come up to the boil at the start of this month. We have Venus in your 12th house, which is making you think very carefully about close relationships, that's clashing with Mars. Now, if you're in a domestic relationship and your partner isn't someone who pitches in, does their bit in terms of sharing the load, that could be a real source of irritation to you. And this aspect could force it into the open. In fact, things could be a bit irritable, even attritional between you. Or is it that your partner or the people you live with or encounter on an everyday basis, they're fine at the physical things, but they're not very tuned in to your shadow side, the more psychological, spiritual and emotional side of your nature, because that's what you could yearn for, particularly on the back of the full moon, which occurs on the 8th. But there is a piece of celestial magic which presents itself on the 6th, because Mercury moves into your sign, and during its transit through Sagittarius, where it's in detriment, it's possible that some anxieties may have become more pronounced. When it moves into your own sign, it brings you more into the present. But still, that full moon in Gemini, which occurs on the 8th, is very close to Mars. So when the moon and Mars are together, it's quite a volatile mix. Obviously, the moon's about emotional relating, receptiveness, and about shelter and security. Mars can be much more impatient. Now, the 6th house can also be very much to do with perfectionism. And if something isn't in your everyday reality working as you want, and you feel you're not getting the support in terms of the unspoken side of things, so people just having a sense of when you're not so happy, that could be something that really sticks in your throat in the following 2 weeks. And Mars could push something into the open that maybe you've been thinking about and feeling a bit unhappy about for some while, because from the 5th through to the 10th, it is in opposition with the Sun too. And maybe also because the 12th house can be about hidden enemies in traditional astrology, and with the Sun there, and at this stage also Venus, it could be that someone's going to confront you with a side of your nature that you're not aware of. And you may find that really chastening. And part of the reason for this is that the subconscious, which we all have, is not something that all of us have got worked up. So we're really aware of being in touch with our fears and that side of our nature, which is much more to do with our vulnerabilities. So if you're someone who's very much rooted in the material world, someone could surprise you with their observations. Now, at first, this may seem that you want to separate yourself from your adversary, but Venus moves into your sign on the 10th, and that's also going to be a major bonus. It's going to give you more confidence. Perhaps there is a big discussion that you need to have at the start of this month around relationships in general, because we know the people who are very reliable for us, the people who are those solid citizens that we really appreciate. But maybe at the start of this month you're feeling so tender, it does illuminate the people who may at some level be good but don't necessarily have that sixth sense to understand what's going on with you without even really having much of a conversation. They could just tell from the tone of your voice, the look on your face, those non-verbal signals and communications. Those type of people who are very in tune with you are going to be the people you really appreciate. So if there is a weak relationship of any kind at the start of this month, where it's a work relationship, a friendship, a family tie, or a personal tie, I think it could trigger some kind of separation. But equally, as Venus moves into your sign, it's a chance to draw a line in the sand. So maybe there is going to be a conversation that comes into the open. The Sun actually forges a very good link with your ruler in week 2. So maybe if there is an open dialogue, it can help to clarify some of the suspicions that you've had about a lack of support, a lack of trust, a lack of sincerity, and actually you can find out that certain elements of your life are much more solid than you thought. However, From the 10th through to the 17th, the Sun squares with Neptune in your third house of everyday conversation, and the potential for gossip and insecurity around ties is once more emphasised over those 7 days. Now, on the 20th, Jupiter, the planet of growth, moves out of the sign of Pisces and into Aries. But in the previous 4 weeks, since it came out of retrograde, it has actually been in a very productive part of your situation. And there may have been some interesting conversations, particularly with people whose ideas or worldview complies with yours. Or maybe you've been thinking about learning new skills. But Jupiter moving into the 4th house, where it will be through till the 16th of May, suggests some kind of expansion around your emotional or family world. Now, for some goats, that could be thinking about adding to the family. For others, it may be about renovation. You may have already done some renovations in your home due to Jupiter being in Aries earlier in year 2022. There could be more to come. There may even be an absolute move. But then on the 21st, as I mentioned in the prelude, we have the winter solstice. This is the most important point of the year every year for you. It can sometimes happen on the 20th, but the 21st sees the beginning of the Sun moving into your sign, and that really enriches your physical vitality. So the first 3 weeks of this month could challenge you a little bit in that regard, but you're going to feel stronger from this point onwards. But the Sun does square with Jupiter on this event, and also on the new moon on the 23rd. But if you want to approach things in a fresh way, or inject ongoing strands that are important to you with more enthusiasm, this combination of the new moon and the square with Jupiter can certainly help you to do that. And there could be some kind of new start around your emotional understanding. And perhaps the full moon, which occurred earlier in the month, has given you lots more information and insights into what makes you tick at a deeper level, but also what makes other people tick too. Now, on the 29th, Mercury does go retrograde in your sign, suggesting that not all the plans you have will necessarily go forwards in a straightforward way, but sometimes when a retrograde occurs, it's an opportunity to revisit, review, repair, and something about an idea that's important to you may be what needs that extra analysis. But it also merges with Venus as the month comes to an end, and someone could be really captivated by you. So as much as there could be someone you feel lets you down, fails you, is disloyal at the start of the month, by the end of the month, your persona and your dynamism and your charisma are really lit up, because then Venus forges a conjunction with Pluto. This is one of the most weighty of all influences on Venus, because Venus in the first house is great if we want to give ourselves some kind of glamorous makeover, change how we approach things, if we've got artistic or creative skills to showcase them. But having Pluto there adds a lot more gravitas. So if you meet someone at the end of this month and there is a real connection, it could be very hot. However, equally, maybe this is you deciding to take back your power, and you're moving away from some kind of unsatisfactory situation earlier in the month, and as the curtain comes down on 2022, a very clear determination to take a firmer grip on your life direction, whatever your detractors might think, could be part of the process that you're working through. Now, on Christmas Day itself, the moon is in Aquarius, the second house, which is great to enjoy the good things in life, good food and good wine, good companionship. But if you are on your own and that's not a choice, you will be particularly in my thoughts. But I do wish you a very happy Christmas and a glorious year 2023. Thank you so much.